methods, we had quite unrealistic good results from off-site competitions. So we tried to use a new method, a method that was forcing competitors to work in a causal way and with a real-time attitude. That is, we have a streaming service essentially that sends sensors data in emulated real time, and competitors provide their estimates in the same emulated real time. So they cannot look in the future. They must provide the results in a limited time, so there is no time for post-processing, and they cannot retry, exactly as it happens in on-site competitions. It is quite easy to use the interface, that is just a single call essentially, where you ask for data and provide your estimate. So what happened this year? Track 2, that was traditionally on-site, this year went off-site, and in fact, its results were comparable to on-site results of 2019. This is an indication that our method of emulating the real time is working. This is also what happened in 2021 for tracks 3 and 4. They had similar results to on-site tracks. However, this year we had worse results. Maybe the competition was more difficult. Maybe competitors did not take it so seriously, or many of them. That is, we saw many competitors who started working on the data just a few days before the competition. We should analyze the data to understand why we had so bad results for tracks 3 and 4. Results of track 7 were comparable to last year's, when we did not use the streaming data service, but were more realistic. That is, we had 2 good data in 2021, and we have more realistic data this year. The results of other tracks look realistic too, even if we don't have direct comparison. So overall, the idea of using an emulated off-site track method with a streaming server looks good. Competitors seem to appreciate it. We have results that look realistic. That is, this method looks more scientific sound of what we have used in the past. Next year, we will set some milestones to make competitors well aware of the difficulties of this challenging method. Okay, thank you for listening. I will pass now the word to Track 2 chair. So Jon?
Good afternoon. Do you hear me?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Good afternoon. I will present a brief summary of IPIN competition track 2. In track 2, we focused on image-based positioning for pedestrians. Given monocular camera images taken by an off-the-shelf smartphone as input, we seek to obtain timely and reliable estimations of the user's position. This is the building where we collected training and testing data with some sample images shown below. The data in track 2 were from 2 sites, A and B. For site A, we selected the 3rd floor of the building These data were used for practice before the competition. The training data trajectories are in green and the testing trials are in red on the left figure. For site B, used in the competition, we chose floor 1 and 2. Again, the training data trajectories are in green. The prepared scoring trials are in yellow and red. With the red ones are the scoring trials actually using for evaluation. Some details about the data are shown here. I will comment on the actual data used in the 2 competition days. The training data included 4 trajectories per floor. They represent combinations of inner and outer loops in clockwise and counterclockwise directions. These data were released to the competitors 36 hours before the scoring trials that were held on the 2nd of September. The scoring trials are 170 and 136 meters long and include 80 and 64 reference points correspondingly. The 2 teams completed trial 1 in the morning and trial 2 in the afternoon. On the top right, we see sequences of images from the training data and from a scoring trial. For training data from recorded video, we extracted images at 30 frames per second and annotated them with user's position and orientation. For scoring trials, we extracted frames from testing trajectory videos at 3 frames per second and annotated them in a similar manner. Then, from image positions, we selected reference points that are more than 2 meters and less than 5 meters apart, measured along the trajectory. On the left, there is a sequence diagram of the client-server interaction during a scoring trial. From the top, we have a login, then a trial initialization. When a client starts a trial, it receives the first image. Then, a request for the next image should provide position estimation for the previous image. Otherwise, the trial is stopped. This ensures causality. So upon a successful finish in the practice period, we returned position errors for all the images and 75th percentile error computed only for the reference points. In the scoring trials, we returned empty result. The main round trip time per sample during the scoring trial was about 6 seconds, which put a limit of the scoring trial length possible to finish in the assigned time slots. 2 teams completed the scoring trial successfully. Team 1 from Shenzhen University and Team 2 from Beijing University of Post and Telecommunications and Chinese Academy of Sciences. Here in second place is the team from Shenzhen University with a result of 3.2 meters. And in first place is the team from Beijing University of Post and Telecommunications and Chinese Academy of Sciences with a result 2.1 meters. The sample error distribution from the best trials for each team is shown on the left, while the estimated position of the best scoring trial are shown on the right. Here, I would like to congratulate both teams and thank them and the IPN organizers for making this event possible. May I ask how to continue later with the prize awarding? Shall I show the certificates or?
Can you turn on your camera?
Yes, please. The winner turn on their camera so they.
Okay.
And also, please, Dongyan. Okay.
Yeah, Francisco, I will show the medal here.
Yeah.
Okay.
The winner team.
This is the winner team.
Hi, track chairs. I'm Yu Chen. I'm a member of Team Camlock.
Okay. Congratulations. So this is the certificate of achievement from Team Camlock.
Shall we begin our presentation?
Yes.
Okay.
Please.
Okay.
Thank you, the track chair. And let's go to the winner's presentation.
It seems that you should quit your screen sharing, and I can share my screen. Can you hear my voice and see the slide?
Yes, perfect. Thank you.
Okay, let's begin. Hello everyone. I'm Yuqi Chen, a member of Team Camelot. We are from Beijing University of Posts and Telecommunications and Institute of Computing Technology, Chinese Academy of Sciences. It's a pleasure to participate in the track 2 competition. Here I will introduce the method we use in the competition. First, I think it's necessary to mention the preliminary research we did. Before the competition, we investigate 4 types of method of visual localization. The first type of a method is structure from motion. Structure from motion build a 3D map with given images, and then we can use PNP method to get an absolute pose. But I think it's time-consuming to build and adjust a 3D map, and it's also hard to handle the scenario that never appear in training set. As for the second types of method is pose regression. Pose regression directly regress the pose with CNN or other neural network. It is also time-consuming to train and adjust the network, and it also has the generalized problem. Image retrieval calculates the similarity score between query images and the images in database. And I think it's hard to handle the scenarios that never appear in database. So there still remain a generalized problem. And the last method is visual odometry. Visual odometry uses epipolar geometry to inference pose frame by frame. Visual odometry has no generalized problem, but it also has its own problem. For example, visual odometry need an initial pose, and it's always based on camera coordinate, not the world coordinate. And most importantly, visual odometry always has a drifting problem caused by the accumulated error. So to sum up all the above argument, we combine image retrieval method and the visual odometry. Here is the overall process of our system. First, we extract the descriptor for each image in training set, which build a descriptor dataset, the database. Once the first image is coming, we find out the most similar image in database, and we use its ground truth as the current image's position and orientation. For the following n frames, we inference their position and orientation frame. We inference their position and orientation frame by frame with epipolar geometry. The process of epipolar geometry incorporates feature extraction, feature matching, and pose estimation with RANSAC algorithm. The pose coordinate will be converted to world coordinate system. Since visual odometry always has a drifting problem caused by accumulated error, we relocalize every n frames with image retrieval. If the similarity score of image retrieval is too low, then we think we receive an image that never appeared in database. Then we continue to inference for the next n frame. I remember inside a test site, the staff enter a path to work outside, which never presented in the training set. If we keep use image retrieval method, there might be a pretty large error. But with visual odometry, we can continue inference in a relatively low error condition. Here is some visualization of our technical approach. On the left, the image visualizes the process of feature extraction and matching between the neighbor images. On the top right, we can see an obvious drifting problem of visual visual odometry. Then we relocalize with image retrieval, and it alleviates the problem, just as the image shown on the bottom right. Since visual odometry use camera coordinate system, a coordinate conversion need to be done here. We first convert the LLA, which represent longitude, latitude, and altitude coordinate, to ENU coordinate, which represent east, north, and up, with below equations. Then we convert the camera coordinate to ENU coordinate, because, then we convert the camera coordinate to ENU coordinate, because ENU coordinate is more convenient for trajectory prediction. And there still remains one problem. The monocular visual odometry has no scale information. So we roughly estimate the scale factor based on the ground truth in training set. During the test, we use 4.5 as our scale factor, which means one unit in camera coordinate system is equals to 4.5 unit in ENU coordinate system. Here I introduce our computation setup. For the image retrieval module, we use PatchNet valid model. For the feature extraction module, we use SuperPoint. For the feature matching module, we use SuperGLUE model. They are all the state-of-the-art method in image retrieval and image matching. For the image retrieval interval, the N value, we relocalize every 30 frames on the test set. If the similarity score lower than 150, we think it's an unexpected image. By the way, the upper bound of similarity score is 1,850. In order to increase the image retrieval speed, we select one of every 20 images as keyframe. Here is our result on the test server. For site A, we initially used N equals to 50. We got an average 5-meter error. Then we adjust N equals to 30. The error lower to average 4 meters. Due to time reason, we didn't do our experiment on sequence 13 and 14. Maybe if we keep lower the N value, we will get a better result. For set B, we can see that the error are all within 3 meters. I think the reason is that set B doesn't involve scenario switching and there's no unexpected images. I think that's all. It's almost time. Thanks for your listening. If you have any questions, please contact me with the email address on this slide. Thank you.
Thank you for your presentation. Now we have a few minutes of question time. I have a question. How heavy is this on the processor? That is there any difference from doing all the processing you did in real time? Is it feasible? Maybe.
Sorry, I didn't get it.
If you run your algorithm in real time on a phone, can it be done, or it is too fast or too slow?
Oh, I get it. I think the image retrieval process time is about 1 second. If we use odometry in the post frame by frame, and the process time is really fast. It's less than 0.5 seconds. And
Okay.
I think it can, I think it's a real-time system. Yeah.
Okay, thank you. Okay, now let's go to track 3. Please, the track 3 chair. Oh, sorry. Are there any other questions from anyone? We have 1 minute. Okay, I don't see anyone raising their hands. So let's go to track 3. Please, track 3 chair, come on.
Hi, can you see my screen? Hi, Francisco, can you hear me and see my screen?
Yes, please go on. Everything is okay.
It's just not in full screen, Joaquin. Sorry, it's not full screen. It's
Full screen.
yeah, presentation mode.
Oh, this one. Can you see it now, right?
Now it is full screen.
Perfect.
Can you see it or not?
Yes, it is okay.
Okay. So this is time for track 3, smartphone based on site. This is you know how the data is collected and the data format. And we found this challenging place for the competitors where the floor 8 depends on the floor. So the floor 8 for the first floor, it's around 2 times the floor 8 for the last floor. Also, the step floor and 8 in the stairs depends on the location. There are 3 different ways to change or to move between floors, and the steps are completely different. Also, we have an indoor patio like this one. And the reference data for the competitors were collected end of May, while the scoring data was collected later. We have also outdoor parts and floor transitions in ramps. At the end, we collected data with the smartphones by means of 20 different people and 8 different devices, from smartphones that were rather old to the state-of-the-art smartphones that were bought less than 6 months ago. The place was the School of Engineering in the Universidad of Dominio in Guimarães, Portugal, and here you have a nice picture. Also here you can see the difficulty of the environment, especially this indoor patio, and the people that were involved in the data collection. So it seems that it's only just a competition run by one person or collected the data with one person, but we involve more than 10 people to collect data and label all the reference positions. We use the GetSense data to collect all this data. Recently, the application has been extended and improved, and we have this paper at SoftwareX journal, where we describe the new version of the application that is completely open to the community. It's open source, so you can download, you can extend it, you can check how it works, and the paper describing it is now on the screen. So the results, as Francesco mentioned, this year we obtained results that were above what we expected. With the first ranked team with an error of 30 meters, the second ranked team with an error of 40 meters, and the remaining teams with errors higher than 3 times the minimum error we set for that track, which was 15 meters. So 2 competitors provided errors above 45 meters, plus 3 teams that did not complete any scoring trials. So they participated, but they could not provide the estimates for all the trials. And this is what the competitors provide. I have to admit that the location was challenging. And we can see that even we included our traditional methods in the track. And this time we provided a T3, which is here on the right, that was done outside the building. So the results are those ones, and the team that provided the best results in the track was XLab. I have to admit that we have we had 7 teams participating from Huawei, Queen Mary University, Imegways University of Ghent, the Beijing University of Post and Telecommunications, and Xiamen University. But finally, the team that provided the lowest error was the XLab from the Nanjing University of Aeronautics and Astronautics College of Automation. So please, now the word is for the competitor.
Thank you, Chair. Now let's go to the presentation of the competitor. XLab, please.
Hello, Chairman.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes.
We can do a screen share.
Yes, please share your screen. Okay.
Yeah, we record a video, so.
Yes, you can launch the video and we should see it. If you launch the video, you should change the sharing window. We are still seeing the files. Share the video.
So, I'm sorry about that. Yeah, okay. Can you see it?
Yes, but it's not moving.
Okay, let's begin.
Unfortunately, audio is very bad. We don't hear the audio. Can you speak and comment on it?
No voice in the video?
No, we see the video, but we don't hear. Audio is bad.
Okay, wait a minute.
We have a good video, but a bad audio.
喂，老师你好，您共享屏幕的时候重新共享一下，然后共享在左下角有一个共享桌面的音频，重新共享一下。
左下角。
你先退出共享，你要退出共享。那重新共享的时候，到第一个屏幕，
我在。
左下角有一个共享声音，要把它打开。你现在还没有停止共享，不是这个播放。 是共享停止，退出 Zoom 的共享。对，然后这时候你再共享的时候，在下面有一个共享声音桌面音频。再试一下。
Trail models and use models to assess the data in real time during the race. Good afternoon, track chair, ladies and gentlemen. We are Team XLab from AVA. Our leader is Professor Xiong Zhi. Our main members are Cui Yanding, Yiming, Yi Xiaodong, and Sun Yinshou. It was an honor to participate in the IPN Track 3. I will briefly describe our system. The system is divided into two main parties, model training and position estimation. We use training data to train models and use these models to process the data in real time during the race. The models we constructed in this system, including the building and signal future model, stabilize fitting model, motion mode recognition model, and flow estimation model. The motion model recognition model is established by cubic SVM, which merely determines whether the pedestrian is moving and the crude motion mode. For the stabilized fitting model, we integrated the Kim mast, wing-bearer mast, and skeletal mast, and proposed an adaptive switch strategy to apply the best performance mast for certain data partner. We estimate the amount of air pressure while a value change between flights by training date determine the floor ID of the starting point by fingerprint map at the beginning of the race, and determine the change of floor ID by threshold mast. Finally, in order to reconstruct the environment, accessible air and signals are SSI at a certain position. Accurately, we developed an information field grid-based slime algorithm called IFG slime, which plays the most significant role in localization algorithm improvement. In IFG slime, the Wi-Fi RSSI, Bluetooth RSSI, and the magnetic field strings are mapped to an occupy grid map containing accessible probability. The environmental accessibility signals are SSI and pedestrians' position were built and created through fast slime algorithm utilization and training data. Here's the position crucial. The pedestrian heading estimation by IMU and magnetic field information merely include three parties: heading estimation, guilt recognition, and stabilized estimation. Creation of pedestrian heading information by magnetic field information. Pedestrian guilt detection by using the time of peak and valley in aggregation model value as a key variable, and stabilized estimation by trailed pedestrian stabilized model. The pedestrian location corrosion is performed using particle filter combined with the dactyl map, future matching of Wi-Fi and magnetic field information at the crude moment, and the secondary corrosion of pedestrian location based on the matching results. Finally, the floor ID determination is performance, and the final localization result is given. In the position estimation part, we merely use the particle filtering algorithm to estimate the planned position of the pedestrian. We use only the position and heading angle of the pedestrian at that moment as the state of the particles. we construct an information field grid model, including digital map information, fingerprint map, and key information such as turn points and tire point. The weight of all particles are calculated by digital map matching and fingerprint map matching. The key information is used for direct correlation of our particle position. Finally, the localization result and output through a reshaping process. Above is the introduce of our system. Since this is our first participation, we used a relatively simple algorithm due to the lack of time, and we would like to introduce our recent work. Currently, we have achieved more MU wearable device for pedestrian navigation with 5 MU mounted to waist, feet, and legs respectively, and achieved accurate recognition of different partners through machine learning math. The recognition accurate greater than 95%. In addition, we have also achieved a hardware platform to performance a real-time pedestrian navigation system through Pi, which sends step length and heading to the handheld device via Bluetooth, then shares position information and inner rail map to other members through 5G network. The positioning arrow is no more than 5 meters in the 4,200 meters test route and can adapt to 5 different motion mode. Meanwhile, in the system, we decided collaborative pedestrian inner stem, which builds the occupied grid map by inner information only to achieve high precision collaborative position and navigation. Here is our recent paper. Welcome to see it. Thank you very much.
Thank you for your presentation. Now we have no time for questions because time is going short. So please, let's go on with the track chair presentation in foot-mounted inertial unit.
Thank you, Francisco. I will share my screen right now.
Okay, we see and we hear.
Okay, you hear me and you see full screen. Perfect. So it's a pleasure to introduce the Track 4 foot-mounted IMU. My name is Miguel Ortiz. I co-chair this Track 4 with Nick Xu, and we are working at Université Gustave Eiffel in France. So what about Track 4? A short overview of this competition of IPIN 2022. We recorded data at the Nantes train station. We walk approximately 1.5 kilometers during 25 minutes. Of course, main part of the data collection were indoor. We estimate 95%. We still put a bit of outdoor in order to be able to use GNSS because the sensor is able to to access that information that can correct absolute positioning. We did only active work this year, so no lift, no escalator and travelator. We made some breaks of several seconds, and we worked on 4 different floors from -1 to +2. And like previous edition, IPIN 2021, the evaluation context was quasi real-time condition. So it's really different from past edition before 2021. So this year we had 4 teams who compete, all from China. So we have X-Lab, Leviathan, SmartFoot, and CETC54 Smart Hardware. I let you just read the organization part. I will not read it to save time. A short description of the sensor use. Its name is ULIS, and it embeds accelerometer, gyroscope, magnetometer from an inertial measurement unit Xsense, and it also embeds a GNSS receiver, U-Blocks, that is able to access that is a dual frequency receiver indeed. And we have also a barometer and a temperature sensor. This sensor was put on the foot, and then we walk around the train station with that sensor. So the objective is to rebuild the trajectory that we record and realize in July 2022 in the train station, starting from a known point that is delivered to the competitors. And with the help of a second point, maybe I can try to point with sorry, I don't know how to do that. So you can see the second point at let's say 10 meters from the starting point. This helps to compute, to correct, to have a pretty good heading because this is mainly dead reckoning applications. And finally, we evaluated 90 key points on that trajectory. And maybe also an important point, no maps were given, and it was not allowed to use in real time the map. Okay. So it is basically the data the competitors have to compute latitude, longitude, and floor level in quasi real time, as already said, and all the technical stuff is accessible in that document that can be downloaded later. So the track description shortly, we're starting in front of the train station. And I would like to thank all the team because, of course, I was not alone to do that. So all the geolog team from the University Gustave Eiffel has participated to that activity, and it's pretty a big work. Yeah? So thanks to them. Then key point 2, at the very entrance of the train station. Then we walk to the floor number 2. We have a 10-second break, watching the rails. At this place, we walk a long window, so we guess that some GNSS signal can be used to correct. Then we go down to the floor. We also walk on slope, so it's not a clear in between. It's in between floor level, and just for information, there were not any evaluation points on that slope part because it's not easy to evaluate the floor number, of course. Then there is different, it is what we can see on that left part from -1 to floor several times. There is then an outside part right there that competitors should have be used to correct using GNSS signal. And then we go inside and we finish the track in the train station at floor 0. This is basically what we did in July. We did that 2 times. Competitors can compute 2 similar tracks, and we evaluate both tracks, and best one is only keep. About the ground truth, we use this year new ground truth based on Awinda system, where we can see our colleague Ziyu that is wearing all these small orange boxes on his body, and we are able to compute like that the ground truth without any survey before. So this is a pretty nice way to produce the ground truth for our track. So evaluation, I will not be very long. It's the same from for years now. The accuracy score is the 3rd quartile of the sample error. Sample error is also taking into account the kind of floor penalty, and is basically the error, the 2D error plus a floor penalty to compute the height.
Miguel,
so,
please.
Yeah, it's I finish. It's finished. I finished. The team number 4 is Leviathan with approximately 300 meters. 3rd one is X-Lab with 124 meters. We have the 2nd place for Smartfoot with 86 meters, and the first the first place is for CETC 54 smart hardware team. So congratulations to them. They win this track 4 with 70.8 meters of accuracy score. So now I leave the floor to Lin Chang that will present his algorithm for this track 4. And congratulations again to CETC 54 team. So I stop my sharing and I let Lin Chang present. Lin, are you there? Not sure.
Winner of track 4, are you there?
I share again my screen to highlight that the CETC 54 team won track 4. Is there any member of this team? Lin Chang? I'm sorry, Francisco. I sent emails to every teams, of course, but can we wait still a few seconds? Or I don't know.
Yeah, let's wait for 1 minute and then we can go on to the next track. Okay, unfortunately, I hope the chair of track 6 is ready to start their presentation with some minutes advance time. track 6.
Hello, Francisco.
Okay, please go on. So
Okay.
we skip the presentation of winner of track 4. Of track 4, yes.
Okay. Hello, Francisco. Hello, every computers and track chairs. I'm track 6 chair, Zhang Wenchao. Now I will give a summary of track 6 on behalf of the track 6 chairs and the computers. First, the keywords of track 6. Today, smartphone-based vehicle navigation has become a very popular navigation and positioning applications. Indoor spaces such as tunnels and garages, as well as urban canyon areas, are the biggest challenge facing vehicle navigation. Second, the goals of track 6, exploring smartphone-based vehicle performance in indoor and outdoor scenarios, communication on methods of multi-sensor fusion positioning, promote the continuous advancement of smartphone-based vehicle positioning technology. Third, rules of track 6, all sensor data only from smartphone, test scenarios, urban canyon with frequent signal blocked, indoor environment without GNSS service, localization approach, only real-time positioning algorithm is admitted. EVA are evaluation rules, so the quartile of 2D positioning error is counted. Fourth, the device installation. A Huawei Mate 20 Pro smartphone is installed at the front of the vehicle to record raw multi-sensor data. The installation of a smartphone is not completely firm. Fifth, the data collection. At the initial alignment phase, we have sensor calibration, initial static state, and several stops and turns. At the score evaluate phase, we have frequently GNSS signal attenuation, several long-time GNSS signal interruptions, and indoor parking and passenger getting on and off. This video is a detailed process of the data collection, about 2 minutes. Okay. 6, the challenging point. No prior information and no external sensors. Long time no GNSS signals. an irregular test route, and a special challenge added in this year is complex motion, frequent reversing and parking, passengers getting on and off. 7th, data evaluation. We mainly evaluate the localization accuracy of scrolling trios in ground parking and underground parking scenarios. And the second scrolling trio is more complex than the first. 8th, in this year, we have 4 teams take part in track 6, all come from China. As for result, about Team A, a data processing error has occurred, and the GNSS information has not been used effectively. About Team B, 2D positioning error is 22.3 meters, 3 quartile error for scrolling trio 1, scrolling trio 2, no valid results. About Team C, 2D positioning error is 14.7 meters, 3 quartile error for scrolling trio 1, scrolling trio 2, 19.26 meters, 3 quartile error. So in track 6, if the positioning error of the computer team is greater than 40 meters, it will not be ranked. Now we are going to give our team rankings. Team Leviathan's result is greater than 40 meters, so they have not been ranked. The second place is Team 708. Their result is about 22.3 meters. The first place is 5GD. Their result is 14.7 meters. So the winner is 5GD, 武大高德 from Wuhan University and the Gaode Map Company. Now we are going to start the live awards. Please 5GD, turn on the camera. 请武汉大学和高德打开摄像头。现在我们进行颁奖。
Oh. So congratulations to the winner. Now
I will go to the second runner-up prize. A runner-up is Team 708 from Beijing Jiaotong University. Please, Team 708, turn on the camera. We are going to start live awards. Have a 第二名。
congratulations for the second place.
So
Okay, next, 5GD is invited to report their technical description. 请武汉大学讲技术报告。我这个可以结束共享了。
Good afternoon, everyone. I'm Long Yangding. Our team members are Wuhan University and Gaode Map from China, and our technical mentor is Professor Xiaojin Liu. Next, I will introduce our team's competition algorithm in detail. As we all know, smartphones have very rich sensors built in, which can be used for navigation and positioning. However, under the condition that the construction of fingerprint library and the deployment of signal-based stations are not available, smartphone-based vehicle positioning can only use GNSS, IMU, and magnetometer. sensors. And as the GNSS signal is frequently disrupted, the improvement of relative positioning capability based on IMU is the key to guarantee the positioning performance of the system. However, pure strap-down inertial navigation based on IMU is completely insufficient. So the fusion of constraints based on vehicle motion laws, such as that and non-holonomic constraints, and IMU is the basic configuration. Based on the above requirements, we adopt a graph-optimized multi-source fusion algorithm architecture. Compared with filtering, graph optimization can exert relative constraint information to a greater extent, so as to achieve a more accurate resistance to the damage caused by GNSS growth errors. In our algorithm, the position, rotation, velocity, and the biases of the magnetometer and IMU are all included in the system state at each keyframe. Meanwhile, the non-holonomic constraint related parameters, such as the mount angles, RED, and lever arm, LD, should be estimated online. Moreover, to use the magnetic field to eliminate heading drift, the local magnetic field vector in navigation frame MN should be estimated online. This figure shows the structure of the graph optimization. The pre-integration factor uses IMU measurements to limit relative pose and the velocity of keyframes. The magnetic factor is used to eliminate the heading drift during estimation. Since the precision of smartphone IMU is poor, the NHC factor is adopted to improve accuracy and stability. When a GNSS position is received, the absolute position constraint is adopted through using GNSS factor. And during the static phase, the zero velocity factor is used to calculate the constraint velocity. First, pre-integration IMU factor. Due to the low accuracy of the built-in sensors in the mobile phone, the influence of angular rate and scaling effect caused by the rotation of the Earth and motion speed can be ignored. The bias and the noise parameters of the gyroscope and the accelerometer are adjusted according to the two sets of training data given by the competition. Second, zero velocity factor. Zero velocity update technology is a very effective means to control the accumulation errors of velocity. The raw output of IMU is used to determine the motion state of the vehicle. When the vehicle is detected to be stationary for 1 second, the virtual velocity observation of zero is employed to update the navigation state. Third, non-holonomic factor. The basic concept is that the vehicle rarely jumps and slides, so it can be considered that the lateral and vertical speeds in the vehicle frame are zero. The misalignment angle between the smartphone frame and the vehicle frame can be determined by the training data and estimated by scoring online. Since the mobile phone is installed in front of the vehicle, the NHC lever arm can't be ignored. We add them to the system state. And the residual definition are as follows. Next, magnetic factor. The absolute heading calculated by magnetometer measurement to correct the heading estimated by the INS, which can still effectively improve the accuracy of the heading estimation. Last but not least, the GNSS factor. The GNSS position is the most important absolute information. Due to the GNSS signal being easily affected by the external environment, the chi-square test determines whether the GNSS position with significant error. Furthermore, for better reliability, we first use the relative distance constraint between keyframe and then adopt absolute position constraint. Here are two examples to show the difference between filter and the graph optimization. The graph optimization shows a smoother trajectory and allowed for reduced accuracy degradation caused by GNSS outliers. This figure shows the result of score trajectories. The green points represent GNSS positions, and the proposed graph optimization method produces the yellow trajectory. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Jianquang. Let's go to the presentation of the tracker for track 7, that is channel impulse response in warehouse.
Okay, 1 second.
Sorry, Sebastian. I forgot to ask, are there any questions for the presentation we have just seen? Is there anyone who wants to ask a question? Okay, let's go on then.
All right. Can everybody see my screen?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much for the introduction, Francesco. I'm here to present the track 7, which is UWB channel impulse responses, and I hosted the competition together with my colleagues Christian Nickel and Christopher Mutschler, and we are at the Fraunhofer IIS in Nuremberg, Germany. So this picture shows some example of signal propagation in a modern connected IoT environment. And as you can see, there are a lot of different signal paths that are available here. They may be caused by effects such as specular reflection, strong scattering, small scattering objects, and so on. And these kind of paths are classically a problem for positioning. So all kinds of multipath. But with the signals that we use, so UWB channel impulse responses, we can actually resolve these paths and use them for positioning. And this is still an ongoing field of research. Short description of the hardware we used for the competition. We used the Vismit sensor platform with fixed infrastructure receivers. They are based on the UWB Decawave module at a bandwidth of about 500 megahertz. It's actually 499.2 and center frequencies of 3.5 to 6.5 gigahertz. And it has an omnidirectional antenna. And to get references for our trajectories, we use a Quellacis optical tracking system, which has an accuracy of 1 to 5 millimeters. Here are some example signals that you can see on the left. So this is a line of sight and non-line of sight channel impulse response. There's a significant peak in the line of sight one that you can see, and not for the non-line of sight. So you will also get signals for non-line of sight transmission. And this is one of the main challenges, so that you can really work with these signals and use spatial information from line of sight and non-line of sight connections. The data we provided were, of course, anchor IDs, real and imaginary parts of the channel measurements, or the channel impulse responses. and corresponding propagation time indexes. So they are all synchronized with respect to propagation time, and also recording time indices and anchor positions. So there are a variety of different approaches possible, and we also had lots of different approaches, especially in last year's challenge. This year's competition, we provided an industrial data set. You can see the environment here. So we have different objects that cause all kinds of propagation effects, for example, a metal shelf, some reflecting walls here, and also industrial vehicles. And we provided a large training data set collected with a robot platform. You can actually see this robot platform on the left. Here it's pretty small, and a small training data set collected with a pedestrian agent, and the scoring trial data were collected also with a pedestrian agent. So the idea was to have a scenario where you can, for example, collect a fingerprinting database in the evening in an industrial hall and then use it for positioning the next day. What was new this time was this year we used the EVAL API, and therefore real-time or quasi real-time data processing. And of course, this was also a challenge for the competitors. So moving on to the participants. This year we had 5 participants. 4 of them were from China. 1 of them was from Belgium. And we provided 2 scoring trials, and the scoring criterion was the better 75th error percentile of the positioning solutions that they provided. And these are the results. So Team LGD unfortunately provided an invalid data set, so we were not able to score them here. And the next 4th place was the team from the Chinese University of Mining and Technology with an accuracy of 1 meter and 5 centimeters. Then came the Wuhan University team with an accuracy of about 50 centimeters. And this year, as if you remember, last year we have 2 winners because the accuracies are so close. The 2 winning teams are Team ISCAS from the Institute of Software of the Chinese Academy of Science, and Team ImecWaves from the Ghent University, which actually are the same 2 teams that shared the winner's prize last year, because again, they had very close results. Pretty interesting in my opinion. So congratulations to the winners, and of course, thank you all for competing. Also a special thanks to Francesco for hosting the API and fixing all the technical issues that arise during the competitions. And of course, if you want additional similar data sets, and of course have any feedback on this year's challenge and ideas for academic cooperation, feel free to contact me under this email address. Thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Sebastian. Let's go to the award ceremony. Please, winners, turn on your cameras. And Sebastian, you too.
I already have it. Okay, now.
Hi everyone, can you hear me and see my screen?
Yes, we can see you. You can start.
Okay, I will start. Hi everyone, it's my honor to have the opportunity to introduce our competition results of Track 7, a CAR-based positioning algorithm designed for IPN 2022 competition. I am Junqi Ma from Institute of Software, Chinese Academy of Sciences, and I'm one of the 6 members of Team SX. Our team leader is Sang Zhang. Other team members are Zhao Xingchang from Institute of Software, and Jia Zhini, Xin Li, and Chang Liu from Tencent Corporation. I want to start with the pipeline figure of our algorithm. First, we use neural network to process the CI signals and estimate the distance between the anchor and the target. Then we use DB-scan clustering method to estimate the position of the target. And finally, we filter and resample the trajectory to get a final position result. Next, I will introduce each module in the pipeline. For the distance estimation module, we think it is the most important part of this computation. Traditional methods adopt the leading edge detection method to detect the first part of CLR curve to estimate the distance. Based on the manual of the Jacob Webb COWB chip, the first obvious peak indicates the distance between the target and the anchor. This method can achieve a high accuracy in line of sight cases. However, in line of sight cases, the error increases rapidly as the SNR of the first pass is too low. Thanks to the large number of training data this year, we can use neural network to estimate the one-dimensional distance between the target and anchor more accurately and efficiently. Here, we introduce the CatBoost to improve estimation accuracy. We designed 15 features, including the distance corresponding to global peak, the first peak, estimated distance of pyramid steps, and so on. Here we show the result of CatBoost. It can be seen that our method outperforms traditional method. There is no doubt that this is a regression problem. So the structure of our neural network is shown in this figure. First, we use ResNet to extract the features of CLR signal. Then we use transformer as the encoder to capture the long-term dependency between these features. After the feature passes through the fully connected layer, the final output regarded as the distance is obtained. Here we show our estimation error. The results show that the estimation errors in one-dimensional distance with neural network can achieve an MAE 75 of 0.62 meters, which outperforms the traditional leading-edge detection-based method. Next, we collect the distance from all of these anchors with the same burst ID to estimate the position of the target. We find that even for the same burst ID, the real coordinates corresponding to the CR with different receive time are not consistent. So we use historical information, including previous receive time and distance estimation, to correct the current distance estimation, so that all current distance estimations will correspond to the same receive time. We take the anchor as the center of a circle and estimate the distance as the radius. Two circles may have intersections points as the candidate positions. For all these candidate positions, we apply the DB-scan clustering algorithm to obtain the cluster center, which is just the estimated position of the target. If assigning ground truth to estimate distances, the position errors can achieve an MAE of 0.0614 meters and an MAE 75 of 0.0831 meters in the test data. Here you can see the results of our algorithm in these two figures. The black dots represent the 8 anchors. The candidate position is denoted as cross label. After processed with DB-scan method, the estimated position marked with blue star is very close to the ground truth position marked with red star. Finally, we use the HG filter to smooth the trajectory in real time and resample it to get the final positions. That's all of my presentation. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you for your presentation. I have a question regarding the design of your neural network you showed on one of the earlier slides. Can you go back to this one?
Okay. Pardon.
You need to share the screen again, I guess. But
I will share my screen. Here. This is our
Yes.
neural network design.
What were the dimensions here? So did you reduce the dimensions with the ResNet or only with the transformer?
We first use ResNet and then we use transformer. The input is there are two channels of input. The first one is the amplitude of the CR, and the channel 2 is the phase of the CR.
And then the layers of the ResNet, how large were they?
We just use we just design the ResNet by another team member of our team. So I don't know the exact number of layers of the ResNet.
Okay, yeah. So maybe we can talk about it afterwards. I'm interested in how you exactly designed this network. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
I don't know if there are any more questions on this. If not, I would go on to Sander from Waves Lab of Ghent University. Sander, are you there?
I am here.
Okay, so go ahead, please.
Everything goes well. You should be able to see my slide.
Yes, we can
in
see
full
it.
screen. Okay, perfect. So hi everyone, I'm from Ghent University. Participated in track 7 this year and last year. Okay. I was going to give a brief overview of the approach this year and also some changes with last year. So in total, we basically use our custom ranging algorithm, which uses the channel impulse responses to get a distance estimate for each anchor. We use that to feed a particle filter to get an initial trajectory estimation. And from this trajectory, we can get all sorts of predictors, which we use with the regression model to do an update on the range correction. So we get a more accurate secondary range estimate, which we feed into a secondary particle filter, which then gives us our final trajectory. For the training data this year, since it was a bit different from last year, we only use it to optimize the algorithm, the ranging algorithm parameters, and the smaller, well, I call it trial data. With the human measurement system, we could use it for the optimization of the particle filters and for the regression model training. But of course, since the data was a lot more small than the training data, there might have been some problems with that, which is also a bit what I wanted to talk about now with the changes with respect to last year. So the eval platform was new, so that limited us in the way we were doing the filtering and the interpolation. As already mentioned, it was a much more realistic approach, but it also made it more difficult for us, I think, which is actually a good thing. Like I said, also before, the training data was different, so we couldn't use it to train the regression model. So with the limited data on the human subject, we have a possible overfit, similar to the fact that the training data was also on a robot, and also that it was without a timestamp, so we also couldn't get a good trajectory with realistic velocities, let's say. There was also a limitation on the timestamp precision, so we had a loss of precision of about 3 centimeters, but that was for everyone the case, so it doesn't really matter. And also this year there was no environment information, so we also couldn't filter out images directly, which was also some of the let's say lessons learned from last year that we couldn't apply to this year's. So we couldn't just copy paste last year's solution, so we had a lot of work, and we also had some expected loss with respect to last year. So some more information about the particle filter and the predictors. So like I mentioned, we use the initial particle filter just to get an estimation of the trajectory. And from this, we then get our XY positions, our velocity, the motion vector and direction, and we can also calculate an estimated angle of arrival and angle of departure for the receiver and the transmitter respectively. And we also do some reliability of the range estimates with respect to the you have the range and you compare it to the estimated position of the particle filter, and also the signal strength, which is just looking at the intensity of the signal peaks in the channel impulse response. So we only actually use the absolute values of the channel impulse response and not any of the phase information. And we also use it only in the trial data. So we have the corrected ranges, which lead to a lower mean absolute error. I think we went from 24 centimeters to about 5 centimeters with the correction. And then the particle filter went down from about 20 to 16 P75 errors on the trial data that we used it on. And then the requested position was estimated by propagating the final particle filter to the requested timestamp. Now, this was a bit, I mean, we also tried a lot of different methods, but this seemed to work the best for the given data. Now, some final thoughts during the competition. We tried also sort of comparing the results and seeing, as we had last year such good results. We had some confidence lost in our approach, because last year, I think in the test data, if I remember correctly, we had a P75 of about 6 centimeters internally. And so when you compare it to 16 centimeters, it's suddenly a big jump in precision loss. But apparently it's acceptable and everyone had this. But then again, it was also good because we went through a lot of trial and error to see if we could maximize our performance for this year. Anyway, the online platform makes definitely for a more realistic centralized localization scenario, and our particle filter approach might be reaching its limits, because of course we can add more particles, but it adds more calculation time, and we haven't actually seen a better precision from adding these more particles. So we might be investigating better motion models for this. And the double particle filter is also maybe a bit overkill, as we could just sort of roll back one state and sort of re-update with corrected ranges instead. So we also tried some per anchor approaches, but those didn't really work. And we might investigate those further if we want to compete again next year. But anyway, big thank you for the organizers to make this possible to compete. Thanks.
All right, thank you very much, Sander. So I have a question with regards to the motion models you proposed at the end. So would it make sense for you if we provided only trajectory data? So this was, we were thinking about maybe doing this year, but maybe we'll do it next year, so that we have for the agent, we will provide a bigger data set that only contains trajectory data, so we can train a specific motion model.
That would actually really be interesting, yes, because for now our particle filter just uses a constant velocity model, and with the trajectory to train on, it would make sense to do indeed both different motion and different sampling methods. So that would be very interesting, yes.
Okay, we will look into that in the future. Thank you very much for competing again. And I guess, I don't know if there are any more questions from the audience. If not, I would hand back to Francesco.
Okay, so no questions from the audience. All right, so let's go on to the presentation of the track chair of track 8, 5G in an office environment. Please, the track chairs of track 8. Are you there? Yi Wang or Xiaobo Wang from Huawei?
Hello.
Hi.
Yes, I'm here.
So
Hi,
it's up to
Francisco.
you.
Okay. So it's my time to present tracker 8, right?
Yes, yes, please share your screen.
Okay, just a moment. PIN. Just a moment.
We are a little early, in fact, because we missed the one presentation, so we are some minutes early.
Okay. We are in the meeting room with Shaobo, with Jiehua. So they are the track chairs. And I'm just give the presentation on behalf of them. And just a moment, because I just opened the laptop and 1 minute.
Yes, please.
Okay. So shall I cannot share, it seems. From table, share the table. Because I open it in Explore, in Browse. So it seems.
Let me try.
Just a
yes,
moment.
I can share my screen. So
yeah,
it should work for you too.
Yeah. Okay. Can you
Yes.
see my screen? Great.
We see a black screen, but it's okay. Perfect.
Yeah,
Please.
perfect. Yeah, great. So this is track 8 results, and track chairs is Shaobo Wang and Jiehua Chen. We are all from the Huawei Technologies Corporation in Shanghai. So every one of us are working on positioning and working on 5G. Actually, this the environment is an open office. This the office. This is an indoor office, regular indoor office in Chengdu Huawei branch. So you can see here we have the table, we have the seat, and the lobby, and also we have some wood just made up for some plastics. So we have a cell. The roof is about 3 meters. And here, this is the TRP locations. Actually, is we have 4 just the TRP located in the cell, and and this is the lobby and the table in that way. And our commercial just the terminal, this is the 5G terminal, has been installed in a truck, and the truck is moved just along the lobby and in the green. The routine is here. So like in this way, we have just the UE has walk along the road just maybe 2 times or 3 times, just in that way. So this is a reachable area. So we can say just not portable, because this is our first time to join the competition, and the management is a little bit perfect.
Share your screen. We can't see the full screen.
Can you see my screen?
We only can see your first page.
I have moved page. So
你用播放模式吧。
我用了。
但是现在我们只能看见你那个 PPT 那一页，看不到你共享出来那一页。
Let me check that. Maybe
这样也可以，这样也可以吗？
这样也可以是吧
Now we see your second slide.
Okay, that's great. So I moved in this way. So this is the scenario open office. We matched with 5G and the 5G base stations. That's the lamp set. Actually, Pico are installed in the cell, and this is the reachable routine area. Next page, and we split the data set into 4 parts, and trial A, trial B, scoring A, scoring B, and this is the complete routine. So we have the trial A, and in the upper part, and also this is up part, but has a little bit different in different direction. And the button, this is for scoring A and scoring B, with a little bit different in locations. But because the measurements is quite good, the output of each base station outputs the TOA measurements of each PRU, like the 4 PRUs, right? And also outputs the RSP, and that's the received energy of each antenna. And because the measurements is quite good, and we introduced some synchronization errors. That means we gave a random just the value between the zeroed bits. For example, like the 30 nanoseconds or even 60 nanoseconds in that way, but it's fixed. The synchronization error is different in testing date and scoring date, right? But scoring A and scoring B has the same synchronization error. Another just error is we introduced the TR4, just introduced the location error, because originally if competitors notice that actually our just the TRP sometimes has the same just in X coordinator, and this one has in Y, they have the same coordinator. But our TRP given in the competition actually just change the PRU4 to change the X and Y. So that's we are introduced about 2 meters in the coordination error. So the purpose of this competition is to develop the TDOA, just the estimation algorithm, and also to develop the estimation algorithm to estimate the synchronization error, right? The third one is how to identify which PRU is bad, because they will introduce the much error in that way. Scoring method. Because this we use the EVAL API, and we can set the time interval there. The horizon value is set to 0.5 seconds. Some competitors would suggest we can have even smaller interval or 1 second or 2 seconds. But because we have only about 30 seconds, right? 80 seconds just of the measurements. So we cannot just enlarge the horizon value. So that's why we fixed it to 0.5 seconds. Another one is, as Francisco suggested, we should take the latest timestamp, and so that we cannot, originally we have the nearest timestamp, but later we update with the latest timestamp. The third is one is we use all the points in the scoring to get the scores. That means originally we say randomly select sum of points, but because we have limited points, so in the final we select all the points to do the reveal. The last one is we have 2 scoring date, and just select the small error one and as the final score. And one of the group has limited results, as we will say, because of the server is reset during the competition. So that data set is removed from the scoring. So lastly, this is the scoring results. We have 4 just teams, and the TX8 mobile, and DYS BOPT, and the Wuhan University, and the UNIP, and 4 teams. And select the.
We are still seeing your third slide.
Oh,
Maybe
sorry. Can you see that?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. So the scoring results is as follows: TX8 mobile, BOPT, Wuhan University, and UNIP. So we have the scoring A and B, and select the smaller L1 as the final results. So the first, the TX8 is 4.2 because we have the around 10 centimeters as the resolution. So we just keep the this resolution 4.2, 0.7 for the mobile team, and this is the best result. He is the winner. And for the third team, BOPT has invented the results of scoring A, but has a good results in the scoring B. So that's point line. But I think the 2 teams has sub-meters accuracy. That's great. And for the WHU, and that's also good, but 4.3 meters in accuracy. So based on the final results, the winner is the mobile with the 0.8 meters. I think this result is quite good because with our TDO, without any synchronization, our algorithm is about 1 meter, actually even better than our results. Yeah, but sure. So that's my presentation, Francisco.
So the winners, the first and second place in this track, please turn on their camera so we can make the prize awarding ceremony.
Yeah. So can you see my camera?
Okay, we are seeing the prize shown.
So we have our track chair Shaoguo and Jiehua is here. Okay. Can you see them? Francisco?
Okay, so congratulations to the winner in second place. And let's go on with the winner presentation, please.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
So we are waiting for the presentation of the winner of track 8, 5G localization in an open office environment.
I'm here. Dear Chair, can you click your screen share?
Yes, please, the track chair, remove your share.
哎，那个王博士，你结束一下共享。结束一下共享。
Please, track chair. Okay, thanks.
Can you see my screen? Hello, can you see my screen?
Yes, please go on.
Okay. Hello everyone, it's my honor to have the opportunity to introduce our competition results here. I'm Chang Su from the Institute of Software Chinese Academic of Sciences, and I'm one of the 4 members of the team Mobile. Other 3 team members of our team are Bei Hongjing, Zhi Wang, and Si Hengli. I will start with the pipeline figure of our algorithm. Generally speaking, we use the AI-based location method. First, we generate simulated data based on data statistics as a training set and use CatBoost to complete the end-to-end position task. The trajectory is then filtered based on realistic factors and combined with relevant information. And finally, we resample the trajectory to get the final position results. Next, I will introduce each module in the pipeline. First of all, I think I should introduce the data first. We can only obtain the timestamps and the 8 features, which are the TOA and the ISRP estimated by the 4 TRPS air time. However, it is mentioned in the document that the estimated value of TOA is composed of 3 values. The first T is unknown UE processing time and the clock synchronization error between the UE and the BS. It can be eliminated by the TDOA algorithm. The second T, which is the time takes the signal to travel from the UE to the BS, is what we want. But the third T, which is the time takes the signal to travel from the UE to the BS, is what we want. But the third T represents the unknown BS processing time and the time element error between base stations, which will be different in soaking and testing data sets. Therefore, it seems impossible to locate it through TDOA algorithm at the beginning, so we will focus on ISRP next. Because the environment on the testing and the soaking data is the same, and the signal strength stars reflect the distance information to a certain extent. We can also see that some coordinates are missing, so we first complete the labels of the 2 testing sets through interpolation and fitting. Thereby, we obtain the 2000 labeled data. After some attempts, we found that it was difficult to reduce the real-time position error to less than 2 meters on the testing set using the ruler-based position method. So we can only turn to AI-based methods. However, the amount of data with labels is too small at present, so we need to augment the data through some methods. Based on 2000 data, we separately calculate the relationship between the ISRP received by each TRP and the real distance between UE and the TRPS. For example, Figure 1 shows the relationship between ISRP received by TRP0 and the true range. And the Formula 1 shows the function we fit on TRP0. It is assumed that the estimated error follows a normal distribution, so we can simulate and generate many trajectories randomly in the field and obtain corresponding ISRP data. Because from the TA description, TOA has different errors on different data set, so we only use ISRP in these steps. We simulated 100,000 data as the training set. Example of simulated data is shown. Now we need a model to help us complete the end-to-end location estimation. We introduced the CatBoost, which is known for achieve relatively strong results. It takes the ISRP and the difference between ISRP as the input and the output estimate coordinates directly. An example of input and labels are as follows. After training 1,000 approaches on the training set with CatBoost, the real-time prediction error on the 2 testing sets can achieve MAE 1.4 meters. The performance on the 2 testing sets is shown in the figure. The orange point is the estimated position of the CatBoost, and the blue line is the true trajectory. It can be seen that the prediction of position is very promising, but there are still some errors and a lot of noises. Next, we can still further optimize the trajectory by some conditions. For example, people cannot pass through obstacles, and the position of a person will not change greatly in a short time. Moreover, we can further obtain more position information by correcting TOA, because we can calculate a relatively stable time element errors of TOA with a larger number of position estimations. After further smoothing the trajectory by this condition, the real-time prediction error on the testing sets can achieve MAE 1 meters as shown in the figure. We can see that the trajectory quality has significantly improved. Finally, in order to meet the requirements of the competition, when testing and soaking data in real time, we will collect the previous position estimation with corresponding time and perform fitting and resampling every half second to obtain the submit results. That's all. Thank you for your attention.
Thank you, Chang-Soo. Do you have any questions from the audience? I missed, I have one question, maybe I didn't catch. You spoke about machine learning, but I didn't catch which kind of algorithm you used for learning the parameters.
Yes. Oh, sorry, I maybe don't get it.
What kind of machine learning algorithm you used?
CatBoost is a gradient boost.
Ah, okay. Okay. Which?
One question, Su Chang. We provide a limited data set. I'm not sure just you have any, just because for training always need a large number of data, right?
Yes.
So I'm not sure we have limited data, then is it efficient for your training, or how much data for your training is enough?
Before testing on the soaking data, we generate 100,000 mock data, fake data to train and test in the 2 testing data. And you can see the prediction is very promising. And then before testing on the soaking data, we added this